Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Star Wars Universe podcast. My name's James, your host, and I'd like to welcome you to this episode where we bring back our first guest, Hayley Hobbs, from the Source Pages podcast. So I'm going to hand over to past James now, and Hayley for that interview. And joining me this month is a returning guest, my first returning guest, and it would only be right if it was my first guest. So I'd like to welcome back to the Star Wars universe, Hayley Hobbs. Hello,
Yay!
Hayley. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's really good to have you back, and obviously a regular contributor to the show as
Of
well.
course.
So very much appreciated. How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm great. It's spring, so you start to get that spring fever, and spring tends to bring a lot of Star Wars memories up for me. So it's kind of a fun time of year to be back here talking Star Wars with you.
Excellent. We do love a Star Wars chat, don't we?
We do. It's 90% of our conversations.
It is, with a sprinkling of how's your day and
Yeah.
Marvel.
Yes. 5 and 5.
Yeah. Fairly even split.
Very much so.
So, since your last appearance, what have you been enjoying in Star Wars? That doesn't have to be new content since your last appearance. It's just, what have you been enjoying?
Well, I'm still heavy on my reading of the Disney canon. So you convinced me to read the High Republic Junior novels, which I've only finished the phase 1 ones so far, because then I got distracted by the Living Force.
Didn't we all?
Yeah, yes, we have. And it's really good. I love that book. Are you done with it yet?
I am done with it, yes.
It's so fun. I really
is.
thought it was going to be like very serious because I didn't read any of the excerpts that came out or anything like that. I just wanted to be fresh, and I thought it would be like the Jedi Council debating the Force in Coruscant, and that's so not what it is, and it's very, very fun. So yeah, just reading, and reading. Like when we get to my list of things I've done this month, it's a lot of reading.
I wouldn't expect anything less at this point in time. I will just say on the Living Force, though, I very much felt it was a much livelier and better version of Cloak of Deception, which was the Legends, basically pre-Episode 1 Jedi Council novel.
Oh.
So I think that was written by James Luceno, who is a very, very good author. That book was dry, though. It was a lot of politics and trade routes. It was very Episode 1, but John Jackson Miller did an absolutely fantastic job with that book, and yeah, we will go into more detail on that in due course, I don't doubt. But yeah, so you've said obviously your reading list and your update is extensive. So it would only be right for me to ask you the next question of, how do you get through so much content?
I have a commute, and so audiobooks I can listen to. I don't listen to them at a crazy speed. Like I have to be able to understand the words that they're saying. I usually listen to about 1.5 or so, but 30 miles back and forth every day is an hour of my day. So if I'm listening strictly to an audiobook, I can get through quite a bit. And then I listen to those a lot walking the dog too, because I've learned I have to be doing tasks that are not like work, because I can't work and listen to the book. I can work and listen to a podcast, which there's some kind of difference there in my brain. But then I just have found, and I love to get physical copies of books. You can see them behind me, but I have found I can read so much faster on my tablet. And so I've been thinking lately, like, maybe I'm reading these too fast. Like, am I absorbing the information in these? Because I finished The Living Force in 4 days, 4 to 5 days, and I was like, but I still remember most of it. I don't know. It's kind of this thing where I'm like, maybe I need to slow down, and Goodreads is giving me the goal to get to that I gave myself, and I'm like, I gotta get my goal. And I don't know if that's the healthiest way to enjoy the content. But that's
There's
how I've been replacing like scrolling on my phone a lot more with reading.
That's not a bad thing.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, it's when I first sort of transitioned over to audiobooks because I just don't have time to sit and read. There's always something else to do in life at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah.
I felt exactly the same of am I taking this in? Am I absorbing the information? And so what I generally tend to do is I will listen to a book and then I will give it a couple of days and just sort of let it percolate through my brain a little bit, and then I'll be like, right, okay, back in now, whether that's comics or
Yeah.
audio book and another audio book. But no, you've obviously said at my recommendation you've been picking up the phase one uh
Yeah.
middle grade novels, which I found them really fun. They add enough to the overall story to be enjoyable as well, and they are just fun little romps around the galaxy.
Yeah. And you can flip
Um,
through them pretty quickly.
you can absolutely. I think they're only like 5 or 6 hours long on
Hmm.
on audio, and if you're at 1.5 times speed, like I, that's the speed I listen to as well. You're looking at 4.5 hours. It's not
Yeah.
that's a day really, isn't it? But off the back of your recommendation, I've been listening to Resistance Reborn, which
Yes.
I saw Poe on the cover and I was like, I'm gonna give that one a miss.
How
Uh,
about no?
yeah,
No to
yeah,
Poe.
yeah. Say no to Poe. I don't.
I know.
It's not.
It's fair. I understand.
It's not even the character. It's the actor. I just
Literally just Oscar Isaac.
yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about him. I just don't like him.
I listen, that's me with Ryan Reynolds. I get it.
We've discussed that before, haven't we? And I don't understand that, and
Very few people agree with me.
I'm sure a lot of people don't understand my dislike of Oscar Isaacs. It's completely irrational. I understand, hands up. But yeah, so it's we this is what this podcast is all about, is recommending and finding stuff you like that you wouldn't necessarily have given a chance to in the initial sort of precursor and glance through what's out there. We've got quite a lot of stuff coming up on the slate for Star Wars as well, haven't we? So I
We
just wanted to
do.
sort of touch on what your thoughts were. If I'm going to throw the title of stuff at you, and I want your immediate reaction, if that's okay.
Let's do it.
Acolyte.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for the Acolyte. Ugh, it looks so good. I love a murder mystery. So this is murder mystery meets Star Wars. Sign me up. And it's in the High Republic. I'm there. I'm there.
Sounds sounds like the best description of that series, and that is one of the reasons why I recommended the middle grade novels, to really get to know Vanessa Rowe.
Yeah.
So she's really the only character. Well, she's the only known character that's going to be in it.
Hmm.
So
It'll
although
be interesting to see what they're doing with the quote unquote antagonists. We don't 100% know if they're really antagonists in that show yet. They're being portrayed that way, at least in the trailer, because it is giving like the path of the open hand vibes. And
yeah,
I think we're gonna get some connection to that.
well they seem to be making phase two a lot more important throughout phase three, which is brilliant for me because I feel like I've invested a lot of time into phase two and
Right.
for not much return at this point in time. But I think the antagonists are going to be the Jedi, because I think
Mm.
it's going to be shot from that point of view.
Which that seems to be a theme in Star Wars right now in
Mm,
general. And I like that because of course I love the Jedi and all the things they represent, but it's so fun to poke at them and poke holes in their diatribes and their indoctrines and see why they are such why they're such a fallible group of beings in general.
absolutely, and I feel it's very much like damage control in the MCU, isn't it? It's
Mm,
the Avengers fly in, save the day, yay, everyone's happy, and then you don't see the carnage that's left behind. You don't see
right.
the power vacuum that's created from removing a gang or a pirate crew or whatever it may be from a planet. And it's
Yeah.
there's that side of it which very much flips into the point of view of the people or
Hmm.
people stirring up the people, half the open
Hmm.
hand, Sith, whoever it may be.
Yeah. I don't know if this is off topic, but Rise of the Red Blade very much follows that line of thinking. And that is maybe so far my favorite Star Wars book I've read this year.
Yes, I remember you saying. I remember you saying, and
So good.
that is on my list as well as Ronin, another one centered on
Hmm.
a dark sider being the protagonist. So
Hmm.
it's the Visions comic is brilliant, by the way.
I need to
That's
watch, or I need to finish that and then read this.
yeah. Visions, so you could finish Visions season one and then dive into the comics. It's
Yeah.
Visions season two has not been
It's
put as
imminent, I
comics.
think.
Yes.
Or is it out?
Visions issue one, two, and three are out.
Season two?
Season two of this show is been and gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
that came out last year.
because it gets into that anime realm, it's not as interesting to me,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
I know
And
can be incendiary to say.
well, season two is there's hardly any anime. So it's very much they've gone around the world and taken different styles of animation. So obviously season one was very anime. It was all
Hmm.
the nine big studios in Japan. But you've got an American studio, you've got a French studio, you've got a British studio, all of whom do various different styles of
Hmm.
of animation. And the British one is kind of Wallace and Gromit. It's like stop
Oh,
motion.
that's fun. Yeah.
So and that was a really good episode actually. So yeah, I give it a go when you get around to it.
Yeah, I'll bump it
It's
up
not
on my list.
it's not essential watching, but it's good fun, and they're only like
Yeah.
20 25 minutes or so, so you can get through them pretty quick.
Hmm.
Okay, Tales of the Empire.
I've been waiting for Barriss Offee to return to us on screen, and again, back to Rise of the Red Blade, like very much pairs with that book in terms of theme and just the course of events that take place. Like, yes, we all knew Barriss was going to be an ultimate baddie, right?
Oh, she was.
she,
Um,
she was.
yeah,
Yeah. Like a Barriss versus Ahsoka would be, without Ahsoka knowing it's Barriss, that would be so cool. I hope we see that.
I don't think we will because I think her only Inquisitor encounter before Rebels is the one who we see in the trailer.
Yeah.
With the sort of
Well, maybe we see them face off
the
and they do
mask.
know who each other is.
Ooh.
And she doesn't know she's an Inquisitor. I just need
No,
it. I need
I,
Ahsoka to get her retribution.
yeah, absolutely. Although Anakin kind of served that up for her.
Yeah. I want
Anakin,
Ahsoka to do it.
absolutely. We always want Ahsoka to do it.
I
Ahsoka's
know.
amazing,
She's the
but
best.
looking at the timeline, she doesn't have her lightsabers. She doesn't have. She's hiding. So
Just
I don't want to burst your
conjuring my
bubble.
dreams here.
I know. Maybe Barriss survives, and then once she purifies the
Yeah.
mask guys lightsaber, she can go after
Yeah.
the Inquisitors a little bit more because she does seem to go after them in
Yeah.
Rebels, doesn't she?
Yeah, she
Like it's
does.
not her first time.
No.
So
And we're
maybe
getting Morgan Elspeth in
yes.
animated form. And of course, my immediate thought, because I think we had just covered Dark Disciple not that long before that came out on source pages. And my theory was maybe that Morgan helped bring Asajj back to life or helped resuscitate her, whatever the course of events happens. I'm like, are we going to see that? Because we see her on Dathomir.
Crossed my mind as well. But I'm also very much looking forward to that style of animation for Grievous.
Yes.
It looks terrifying.
I know, for once.
Yeah. Although, have you seen the 2002, 2003
The
Clone Wars?
OG, I have not. It's
In
also on
that,
my list.
he is terrifying. He is really, really scary in
He
that.
should be.
Yeah, he's a giant mechanical man thing
Yeah,
with four
with lots of
lightsabers.
arms. I loved Tales of the Jedi. It did what we were talking about earlier from Dooku's perspective of is this the right path? Are we doing the right thing? And so we'll see probably some of that kind of similarly flipped in Tales of the Empire, but I don't want Filoni to stop doing those. I think they're really valuable ways to quickly add to canon.
Yeah. And it just, they can set stuff up and then answer it in these little shorts. So yeah, if we get the Asajj resurrection, whatever it may be, or healing,
Yeah.
it's just the perfect vehicle for it.
Hmm.
And they're short episodes, they're quick episodes. It can just be a little part of a single episode by Morgan Elsbeth. How
Yeah.
weird would it be though that Morgan Elsbeth is the one who resurrects the Asajj Ventress?
It'd be really weird.
But it works.
But it's the only thing that makes a lot of sense to me at the moment.
So there is one other Night Sister around, Merrin, who
Yeah.
is from Jedi Fallen Order, and I think, well, certainly in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, she has a revive ability. So,
Oh, that's true. I have read that book with her in it.
mm,
Ooh, that would be
so
fun. What if there were three of them? Then there's like a coven of them.
yeah, Coven of Night Sisters. That would
Ooh, I like that.
be excellent. Skeleton Crew.
Just don't know enough yet. But it sounds interesting. I mean, it sounds like it'll be fun. I just feel like I still don't know exactly what they're going to accomplish with that series yet. Not in a bad way.
No, I agree. I agree. I think there's certainly potential. I think it's set within the Mando verse.
I believe so.
It's that time period, isn't it? So I my hopes for it, and I'm going to throw it out there now into the universe
Mhm.
that I think we might get Hondo.
That would be a great vehicle to introduce him because I have wanted to see him in the Mandoverse. He must
Yeah.
show up,
Well,
especially with Ezra, etc., coming back.
I exactly, and we. So it depends on how much you believe that everything Disney has done is now canon, because he's at Galaxy's Edge,
Right.
which I still think they are classifying as canon until it gets contradicted.
Well, yeah,
Um,
they have those books
mm,
about it. So,
yeah, and so we know he lives through the sequel trilogy.
how old is he?
I don't know how that
How
species
old do
ages.
Weekways live?
Is he a
Is that what he
Weequay?
is? What is he? I
I
thought he
think
was
he is
a
a Weequay.
Yeah, he is. I pulled that out of nowhere.
You did, and I'm going to check it just to
I'm
give you
pretty sure
credit.
I'm right. But it would make sense that they would age. It's kind of like Cad Bane. He was an
He
oldie but a goodie in the Book
he's a
of Boba
Weequay.
Fett.
Well done.
Yay!
Pulled
See,
that
I've got my
information
Star
out.
Wars card, people.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree. Though we do need to see more. Has the trailer been officially released for that yet?
I don't think so. I think
I
they
don't.
showed something at Celebration
Yes, they
last
showed something.
year.
Yeah, Celebration London. They showed something, and it's online if you want to go and look for it. But it's camera footage. But
Yeah. I'd
so
rather
so
wait and see the real thing. I think
mm,
I mean I like Jude Law. I think he fits well into that role of like a Jedi who's trying not to be a Jedi anymore. He can kind of play that pathos when he wants to. So it's kind of interesting to have him in the universe as an actor. But if I was an actor and I was given the opportunity, I would 100% say, I'll do whatever you want me to do in Star Wars. You want me to lead these kids around all day? Great, I'll do that.
well, Daniel Craig was a stormtrooper. So
Yeah. What did you say?
is that your Daniel Craig?
His voice is so weird in that scene.
It is. It's the helmet. It's the
For
helmet.
sure, right?
We'll let him off. And the last one on the list is the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, aka season 4 of The Mandalorian.
Right. I'm still kind of reserving judgment. I mean, I'm excited about it, of course, but it's not going to be the final because it's not the Filoni film, is it? This is the Favreau one.
Yeah.
So it's not the end. And so to me, it just feels like they're experimenting with kind of like these smaller stories in a wide release major film format.
Mm.
I'm sure it will pay off for them very well, but how will that transition from television to film? I don't know.
There's also the worry, as well that people are going to look at this film and go, "Oh, new Star Wars film." What do you mean I have to watch 3 series of TV?
Right.
Or 3.5 if you count the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Couple of
You
episodes.
have to.
You have to at this point. Otherwise, why is Grogu back?
Right.
And that for me is just part and parcel of a massive connected universe. You're gonna have to watch some stuff to understand some stuff, or just take what you're given, sort of on the face of it.
It's the opposite of what the MCU has done, right?
Yeah,
It's
they've kind of
not
pulled
films
back
to
from the.
TV. And that hasn't, and then from TV back to films. And we saw, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is the best instance of this, where people were like, why is Wanda angry? Like they were so confused because they didn't watch WandaVision, even though Kevin Feige himself said, you have to watch these TV series to keep knowing exactly what's going on. So yeah, we're gonna see the opposite, and I don't think it'll backfire in a horrible way because Star Wars is a cash cow, but I think we'll see some of that for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's that's my only real concern with it. I have absolute 100% trust in Favreau, and even more trust, if that was even possible, in Filoni. And it's this is going to set up Heir to the Empire. I'm calling it Heir to the Empire. It might not be called that. It might be
He
Thrawn's
better
Return.
call it that.
He better call it Heir to
I
the
think he
Empire.
will.
Yeah,
Dave knows what we want.
because it's largely what he wants.
Exactly. He's a fan, we're fans. It all works
Absolutely.
out.
Absolutely. But yes, that was sort of the list of stuff coming that I wanted to get your thoughts and opinions on.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's it's
Yay.
quite. I only went through the end of next year as well, so there's another
Mhm.
film coming out in 2026, which I believe might well be Heir to the Empire.
I think
Um,
so. Because I don't think we have a date for the James Mangold Dawn of the Jedi one yet.
think that's being earmarked for 2028. So I think they're going to
Wow.
try and go outside of the Mando double header.
Hmm.
I think they're going to go every 2 years,
Hmm.
which will be good. But that means
Yeah.
we get films through, well, Ray's film got to come out some point as well. So we
Hmm.
might get a film a year
And
for
that's
a
like
few years.
seriously in development. So I would
Yeah.
imagine they're going to start on that pretty soon.
Yep. And Ahsoka Series 2 coming in
Yeah.
2026. So I think that's going to, what I really hope, because I think they're also looking at shifting away from the Christmas release and moving back to May.
Mm,
So I'm hoping January, February, we get Ahsoka season 2, and then it kind of leads straight into like, now go to the cinema.
that's interesting.
That's speculation on my part. There is no backing of that in any sense of fact.
It makes sense though. I think people so much associate, like we were saying, this time of year with Star Wars that why not just lean into it? I mean,
Mm.
if it's
There's
it'll
there's a
speak to
very
your
specific
fans.
day. There's
Yeah,
a very
make people get off work and, take a day off and go do their dressing up thing and make it an event like it used to be. I'm sure it was. I'm sure the Christmas releases were for a lot of people, but
Yeah, but it was right on top of Christmas. It was like
yeah.
December 15th,
Yes.
or 17th or whatever. I think even one even came out like the 21st, and I'm like, this can't be good for your opening weekend.
Right. Yeah, not your
Um,
opening, like maybe throughout the weeks following, but yeah, I
mm,
agree.
but so I'm very pleased that I heard. I can't even remember where I heard it that they were moving back to May.
That's fun.
But yeah, it'll be an interesting couple of years, I think, and there's a lot of good stuff coming down
Hmm.
the pipe, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's I'm really really looking forward to it. So, big question time:
Okay.
what have you been doing in Star Wars over the last month?
You know how
There's no time.
sometimes you really feel like a geek? Like I really feel like a geek when I look at this list.
How do you think I feel with just unilaterally? I've got different sections on mine. Yours
So
is
do
mainly
I.
books.
So, I read several things. I read Leia, Princess of Alderaan, which I struggled with kind of at the beginning, but once it got through the setup of kind of where she's at in her life at that point, she's a teenager and she's working to become that she has to be not like elected the heir of Alderaan, but she has to pass these trials. And it ended up being good. It did have a quote twist that I saw coming 100,000 miles away, so there was that. And then I read the junior novels from Phase 1 of The High Republic, Test of Courage, Race to Crash Point Tower, Mission to Disaster. And I think I told you I liked A Test of Courage and Mission to Disaster the best. I can't remember who wrote Race to Crash Point Tower. Was that Tessa Gratton
Think
or
so.
Justina Ireland? I think I like Justina's writing better on those.
Race to Crash My Tower was Daniel Jose Older.
Oh, that's yeah, he's not my favorite.
That's fine.
Um,
It's not for everyone.
like I read Last Shot, which he did, which is the Han Lando one, and I couldn't tell you one thing about that book. How about that?
It had Han and Lando in it.
Yeah, and it was called Last Shot.
Someone shot someone.
Yeah, they had to find something. That's all I remember. And then I read Crimson Climb about Kira, and that's to appear on the Now This Is Lit podcast, which I'm recording that tomorrow as of this recording date. And I really liked that. E.K. Johnson wrote it, and her books don't always work for me, but I did enjoy this one. It was pretty graphic, actually. I was surprised. And then we read Rule of Two, of course, for Source Pages, which you were there for.
I was
Really
indeed.
liked that, and The Living Force. So that's all.
That's not too bad. There are three middle grade novels in there that you probably would have got through in like a
Yeah,
day
I mean,
each.
that's like the equivalent of one adult novel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then comics, I was a little lighter on. I read Shadows of Starlight 3 and 4 for the High Republic Phase 3, which came on Marvel Unlimited recently. Kind of fallen off on the show comics, Obi-Wan and The Mandalorian, because I'm kind of like, what am I doing here? Reading these. I'm just kind of flipping through them, like, whatever. And then there was a Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary issue, and I was like, that's cool. And it was just a book of variant covers. So my comic stuff was kind of meh this time. And then I think I sent you a picture of my glass cup I got with the indoor
You did.
and the Death Star on it. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And
That was
then,
cool.
of course, we're watching The Bad Batch, which has tapered off for me. I'm kind of bummed. I haven't watched today's episode, but the last like 3 or 4 have not been it for me. And I've never had to say that about The Bad Batch. So they better end strong. I did buy my tickets to see The Phantom Menace in theaters. And then I started my annual Rebels rewatch, which I always do in the spring because that's when I first watched it. And it's just like a sensory memory for me.
Well, a busy month,
Very.
as always.
Yes. I'm getting really close to finishing all those Disney canon books, and I'm really proud of myself.
You'll have to send me an updated list of what you've got left because it can't. As you
It's
say,
not very many.
it's not many. It's not
No,
many left.
it's like
Um,
Alphabet Squadron and some of the Galaxy's Edge and some of those other kind of ancillary things.
mm. There's a lot of good stuff, and you'll have to get started on Legends after that.
I have that list on my phone, and it's really long.
It's really long. I think there's 124 books
Oh my
in
God.
Legends.
So
But you've
this has
already
taken me like 2, 3 years. It's gonna take me a long time.
well, at least you'll know they won't be adding to it.
True. Yeah, because then I'll have to make room for uh new canon ones too.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
have a few more canon ones than I thought I did. I'm currently reading Most Wanted, which is the Han and Kira
Oh, okay.
book. It's cute. I like it.
Fair enough.
Well, there you
Fair
go.
enough. Yeah, I haven't read that one yet. I just kind of pick and choose what I like at that point in time, and I just like I'll get through at least a book a month
Yeah.
plus the comics. I'll go into more detail in my update, but I've just finished the Between a New Hope and Empire,
Mm.
like ongoing.
Hmm.
So I'm anxiously waiting for May the 4th sales so I can get like the next 6
Yeah. Yeah.
trade paperbacks, plus whatever else they have on offer. I generally
Just saving your
pretty much.
pennies for that.
Oh, absolutely. I very much sort of set up my year's worth of trade paperbacks readings on, and then I get my monthlies and stuff. The series I read.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to wait for the trade paperbacks for the shows Oh,
Yeah, I would suggest that, honestly, because it's kind of just weird to read them one at a time, and I'm like, okay. I'm giving up on that, I think is what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah. I think just wait for the trades.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to to when they do Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I just think the artwork in that is going to be quite striking, especially with that episode 5 World Between Worlds. And like the flashback, so I can see that as a big double page spread. That's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to that, and there's quite a few books coming that are very interesting to me. I do want to go back and read some of the Jedi versus Sith Legends stuff as well
Hmm.
that Brian was talking about on the Rule of Two cast. But yeah, it's if you haven't listened to that, source pages, reading collective,
Yeah. It's a
uh,
good time.
sacred Jedi texts. That's Haley, me, Todd, and Brian who are currently reading the Darth Bane trilogy and having a good time with it. I think overall.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. It's been
So
fun.
fantastic, fantastic. Well, Haley, a pleasure as always.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on, and I anxiously wait to hear from you on the episode 1 special we're doing, which is going to be dropping in only a couple of days from this episode. So, yeah, for now, I will bid you adieu and say, may the force be with you.
And also with you.
Thank you for that, Haley. It's always much appreciated to get an update and also have a chat with you. It's always good fun. I have an update from Josh Hoyt as well. We spoke recently about the episode 1 celebration episode, which I will go into more detail on later. But for now, I'm going to hand over to past James and Josh to see what Josh has been up to this month in Star Wars.
So it's been an exciting time in Star Wars land for myself. You know, I've gotten a couple more Black Series figures. I finally got Darth Vader New Hope figure, and I got some of the Ahsoka figures. I was really looking for Balin, and we went and got a puppy in North Carolina. And by dumb luck, I stopped at a Walmart there, and there was Balin because I've been looking for that forever. So, because of his situation, I kept that one in the. I'm not a package guy. I'm a get him out and manipulate him kind of guy, but Balin, I kept in the package along with Grief Karga. So they're staying in. They're like my memorial wall right now in my office. But I've scored those. I've been loving the Bad Batch. I am so nervous about watching the Bad Batch episodes. You know, I sit there and I'm like, you know, it's like this nervous, anxious feeling watching these episodes now because you just feel like, okay, who's going to pass away? And please don't pass away. But my goodness, season 3 of the Bad Batch has. Every time I talk about Star Wars, I say, "Oh, that's my new favorite thing." But season 3 of the Bad Batch has been some of the best writing. The Kiners have been absolutely flawless with their music and the score. I'm afraid to see this end, but I cannot wait to see it end. So I watched the Acolyte trailer probably about 10 times, you know, and still reading up. I'm still doing a reread of Heir of the Empire, so I'm about halfway through that. So it's been a lot going on. My work's pretty busy right now, so finding time has been tough. I still have time to do my Lego Star Wars. Got a couple new sets across the board there, and with May the 4th coming out, there's a couple I got my eye on as well with the Sith Infiltrator set and the Bark Speeder. So because I want to get the gift with purchase, the free battle droid carrier that comes with it. So, but yeah, a lot going on.
Thank you, Josh. Always appreciated. And next on our voice note list is Brian Klein from Source Pages Podcast. Brian, always appreciate the time you take to send these in. And a very exciting update from you this month.
So what I've been doing lately with my Star Wars fandom is I'm continuing to play Jedi Survivor. I put together a couple Lego sets, the Tantive 4 set, and also the final duel Endor with the Emperor, Luke, and Darth Vader. And just, continuing my collection, I finished The Living Force, the book, and I listened to it again. So, talked to John Jackson Miller at C2E2 about it, and he's going to be coming on our podcast to talk about it, either as he didn't know if he's going to be able to join in as a fifth member of it or do like a one-on-one with me, and then I can add it in later, but depending on when it is, it's not going to be for a couple months anyway, so.
Thank you, Brian. Always appreciated as ever. And turning our attention to the third member of the Spark Jedi Council, Todd, his update is that he's finished Defy the Storm. He started the Living Force. His wife very kindly bought him some blue milk, which I did not know was a thing until the picture came through in our chat. He has recently increased his Funko collection to 216 Star Wars related Funkos. That is insane to me. I have maybe 20. And he's come to realise that the rule of two is his favourite of the Bane trilogy, just like my fellow council member James. So if you listen to the Source Pages, a Reading Collective, Sacred Jedi Text episodes, we are currently reviewing the Darth Bane trilogy, and I said during Path of Destruction, the first book, the Rule of Two, the second book, is my favourite of the trilogy. And yeah, Todd came round to my way of thinking on it. So that is absolutely awesome. Looking at my interactions this month, comics-wise, I have read Thrawn Alliances, issues 1, 2, and 3. It's just a very faithful retelling of the Thrawn Alliances book in comic book form. I have issue 4 to read. I do know that it ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I don't think we are done with this book just yet. So I do think we're going to get some more issues in the future. I have read Mace Windu 1 and 2, which is a mini-series setting up some more info about Mace Windu, which I hopefully will lead into the book we get later this year. I read the Free Comic Book Day 2023, which was based around the High Republic. That was a fun little read. Single issue, very good, just in time for the 2024 Free Comic Book Day, which to this year is falling on May the 4th, which I'm very much looking forward to. It's actually going to be the first time I take my kids to the comic book shop for Free Comic Book Day. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I also finished the Star Wars 2015 run. I finished it with the trade paperback, Volume 11, Rogues and Rebels. So I am now done with the monthly ongoing set between episodes 4 and 5. So I'm now going to look to turn my attention to between episodes 5 and 6, which I know is ongoing at the moment. So hopefully there's some good sales for May the 4th where I can pick up my next year's worth of trade paperbacks readings to go alongside my monthlies. So I'm looking forward to that. I do have about 7 or 8 other issues on my Kindle at the moment, which I just haven't got around to reading as of yet, but I'm sure I will get to that for the next episode. Book-wise, I have read The Living Force, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I think I said in my conversation with Hayley that it's a much more exciting version of Cloak of Deception. It's very similar time period it's set. Includes the Jedi Council, includes all of the different characters. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. John Jackson Miller is an absolutely fantastic writer. I always enjoy his stuff, and I haven't read all of his Star Wars books yet, but I do have a couple on my hit list for the next few months, maybe. I have a few other new books which I need to get through as well. And I am probably around about a quarter of the way through Resistance Reborn. So I've started it. I'm enjoying it. I did drop it for Rule of Two and then The Living Force. For me, new content always has to take precedent over listening to a back catalogue of something. But I am enjoying it. That was a recommendation by Hayley, as you would have heard in the interview, and I am enjoying it. I'm always reluctant to hear more about Poe. I'm sorry, Oscar Isaac fans. I just don't like him. I've never seen anything with him in it that I've enjoyed. But enjoyed his character. I will say I did enjoy the sequel trilogy on the whole, but not him, unfortunately. TV-wise, it's been pretty much limited to The Bad Batch, episodes 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. At the time of recording, and by the time this episode goes out, we will be a day away. I think it might even well be the day it comes out, that the series finale is happening for the Bad Batch. So we will find out how this series is going to end. I know Josh has really, really enjoyed it, and I know Hayley has felt a little bit disappointed, is probably the best way to phrase it, with the pacing of it. I'm somewhere in the middle. There's been enough in it for me to enjoy. The music, as Josh mentioned, is absolutely fantastic by the Kiners. But there's been something missing. It's just felt a little bit slow. It's felt like it's listed a little bit in the middle, with just the odd episode that sort of really gripped my attention. But overall, looking at it as a 3-season series, it's been absolutely fantastic, and I'm very, very much looking forward to the finale to see what it sets up for the future. I'm going to throw this under TV. The Acolyte trailer has obviously dropped. I have watched this through 7 or 8 times now. I've paused it. I've done shot by shot. I've looked for Vanessa Rowe in all the background. I've got a few different images of her, which I got very excited about, because obviously I do love some Vanessa Rowe. I'm very much hoping that we get to see the light whip in action for this series. But yeah, I'm very, very excited for it. I think a lot of people will echo those sentiments as well. Game-wise, sorry, there's still no Jedi Fallen Order update. I have just not had time to sit down and play any games on a console, really. So my gaming, as always, is limited to mobiles. And Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, very, very quick update. I have lifted up my Darth Bane character all the way up to Relic 7. I've 7-starred all of the Bad Batch, so now it's then just working on the gear to get them up into the Relic levels. I've also 7-starred Merrin, the Night Sister from Jedi Fallen Order. And I've just started, literally yesterday, my starring for Tarful, the Wookiee general from Episode 3, and also working on Serra Junda from Fallen Order. And all of those together, plus Saw Gerrera, will be working my way towards Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, who is not long into the game. Saying that, probably about 9 months ago, he was introduced to the game now. So it's a grind. It's always a grind, isn't it? I'm still working towards Profundity. So I've got Admiral Raddus and Bistin still to take up into relics, and then it's just relic levels on a number of other people. So it's not going too bad. It's just a slow sort of background grind. I've done some work for my guild recently as well. I've taken Ugnaught all the way up to Relic 5. That was painful, to be perfectly honest. It's a completely useless character in the game, and someone needed to do it. And I think my comment in our guild chat was, "Don't all jump at once. Fine, I'll do it." So yeah, it feels like a waste of gear, but it helps the guild, and it does improve the return on gear, so it's worth it in my view. I also took HK47 from the Knights of the Old Republic game all the way up to Relic 7 for the guild as well, and that allows us to do some extra bits in the game as well. I managed to hit what is called Kyber 4 in Galactic Challenge, which is the player versus player game mode, and Kyber is the highest league in the game, and I'm in sort of Division 4 of that league. So Kyber 1 is where the big players play, and I got up as far as Kyber 4. I'm 2 rounds into actually fighting other players in Kyber 4, and I am not doing well. I am very much out of my league on that level, so I am very much expecting to drop back down again. Moving over to the Star Wars Topps trading card game. Not a huge update on that. It's very much just a casual play, and I'm enjoying collecting the cards. I'm focusing on some of the time limited collections, and it's just good fun. It's just good fun. If I have a spare sort of 15-20 minutes, I'll just go in and open up some packs. It's good fun. I do enjoy it. Movies, there's I haven't actually watched a movie yet. You might see where this is going, but I have booked my ticket to go and see The Phantom Menace. I am going to see a lunchtime showing of that. I'm going to take the day off work and go and enjoy myself and watch The Phantom Menace, which also has a snippet from The Acolyte at the end. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing that, seeing what that's all about. Moving on to collectibles, which seems to be where a lot of my stuff is going, and my time and energy is going at the moment in Star Wars. I picked up 6 booster packs for Star Wars Unlimited only a few days ago, and I've at the time of recording, I have just recorded the video that is going to be uploaded to YouTube. So that video will be out now, and so I don't mind spoiling it. I did pull a showcase card, which is the rarest card, one of the rarest cards in the game. It's a showcase card of Cassian Andor, and I was very, very excited. So excited, in fact, I knocked over my light for the video. So there's a big crash in it. Don't worry, nothing broke. It does still work, and I did carry on. I also ordered some singles for Star Wars Unlimited from Thistle Tavern, from thistletavern.com. I picked up some Wizard of the Coast A New Hope cards, which I got the light and dark side starter sets, and there's a video of me unboxing those on YouTube, on the YouTube channel as well. I have ordered, but I have not yet received at this point in time, the Wizard of the Coast Sith Rising full set, so hopefully what happened with the A New Hope dark side starter set won't happen again, where there are actually some missing, or not what was described in the slightest, as was the case with that one. I was gifted a Grogu Seeing Stone Funko, which I will be doing an unboxing of. If you want to see that on YouTube and see a full review of it, let me know. Get in contact with me. You can get in contact with me at Twitter, Star Wars UPod, or on email, which is starwarsupod@gmail.com. And I also booked my ticket for the London Card Show on the Sunday, I think it's Sunday the 12th of May. So I'm going to be at Sandown Racecourse in Esher, which is technically in Surrey, but it's southwest of London. So I'll be there on the Sunday. I'll be having a wander around looking for any good deals or some interesting stuff going on. It doesn't necessarily have to be Star Wars related over there. If I see some deals, I might well be interested to pick some stuff up. But yeah, if anyone is also going to go, again, get in contact with me, Twitter, email, let me know. We can always meet up, grab a coffee, have a chat about some Star Wars, and if you're up for it, may even do a little recording with you if you want to put your voice on microphone, as it were. Put your voice on a podcast. So always happy to interact with anyone. So those are my updates, but that's not it for this month. So good friend of the podcast, Josh Hoyt, has very, 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 very kindly offered a giveaway, and it is a dual pack of Clone Troopers from the Black Series. I want to say, I don't know which set it's from. I'll get some more details and I'll include it in the May the 4th special. But if you want a chance to win it, it doesn't matter where you are in the world as well. So we are saying this. So Josh is obviously based stateside. I am based in the UK. We will get it to you. But what we need from you to enter is to subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment on either this video or one of the unboxing videos, and take a little screenshot and either send it to me on Twitter or by email. So those handles again, on Twitter at StarWarsUpod, YOU pod, or by email, StarWarsUpod@gmail.com. So if you are interested, drop a subscribe to show and a screenshot, and drop a comment on any of the videos, and take a screenshot of that, send it through to me, and you will be entered into the giveaway. So that's it for me this month. I will see you in a couple of days with a special episode to celebrate Star Wars Episode 1 with friends of the podcast. And so I look forward to talking to you then. But until then, may the Force be with you. Always.